Hi everyone. Am I audible to everyone? Can someone tell me, please?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Just give me a minute. I need have to share my screen. Should I go ahead, Tabassum?
We, we will play an introductory AV of you.
Sure,
Then you
no
can
problem.
start your presentation.
Yeah, I do have an option to share my screen, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Let me introduce Dr. Amit Filhora. He is first speaker today to this event.
Here I am introducing Dr. Amit Filora. Dr. Amit Filora, Senior Business Operations Specialist, author at Amazon from India on the platform of our International Research. Here I am introducing Dr. Amit Filora. Dr. Amit Filora, Senior Business Operations Specialist, author at Amazon from India on the platform of our International Research Forum on Mental Health and Psychiatry, June 13 to 14, 2022 in Berlin, Germany. His topic of presentation would be stress management or neuromarketing. He is the winner of Pillar of India Award 2021. It is a global platform for presentations of novel ideas and with respect to inviting phenomenon. This is the introduction of Dr. Amit Filora. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Should I go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead with your
Just a
presentation.
moment. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Let me know if you are able to see my screen. Okay, just a moment.
Okay. Yes.
Is my presentation visible?
Yes.
Yeah. A warm welcome and hi. This is Dr. Amit from Amazon, and I am in India, and I will be speaking about stress syndromes. Before I proceed further, stress syndrome, I would like to add that why stress syndromes in organization happens. It happens because of poor diversity management. If you're able to see my screen over here, you can see two colors are coming together and trying to blend with each other. One is blue, one is pink. Both try to mix with each other and form one particular color. That is what diversity management is. To have it better understanding, we need to understand what is DIBE concept, and which I will be explaining how it is related with mental health and industrial psychology. DIB simply means by diversity, inclusion, belonging, equity, which is often called as DIBE. Now, when we talk about diversity, diversity is a huge term. It means that having a wide range of people with different racial, ethics, socioeconomic, culture background, and experience and interests, all of them working and representing a department. Basically, diversity is group of people who are different in same place. Now, when we talk about inclusion, inclusion involves practices like fair hiring practices, equal opportunities, cultural beliefs, all these things. The most important factor is belongingness. If you don't feel that you belong to one particular place, you have a problem there. It is basically a human understanding to have a human need a particular way to function. Now, equity. In order to ensure equal circumstances for all individuals across the organization, Equity requires that employers recognize barriers and advantages. So they need to understand what are the barriers are, what are the advantages the employee can get. Now, when we talk about work diversity, it is the same thing that different age, culture people are working under one, floor. Now, when we talk about diversity management, we need to understand that if diverse management is not properly handled, there leads to a lot of problems. Like for example, if diversity is not properly managed in a particular organization, employees may think that there is a fear of understanding, and they will not be comfortable working in a particular organization. Diverse management is intended to foster appreciation for diverse ideas and personal histories that employees bring to a particular workplace. Until unless you understand the diversity of a person, you will not be able to connect and communicate with that person and will not be able to understand the differences. If you're able to manage that properly, you will fuel a lot of innovations. Diverse management is also crucial for sustainable business growth because the increasing diverse public evaluates organization on their diverse management. So it is very crucial that you understand people, respect people, and understand the way they work and how they work. Now there are very problems in implementing diverse management. One, there are a lot of problems. People do not accept it very easily because they come from different backgrounds. A lot of resistances there, as they have different diversity. They have the different communication channels are used. Often they are confused with different words, leading to poor communication. And when the organization, or when a particular practice is not worked in a systematic manner, it leads to disorganization. This all leads to poor diversity management in industry. Now, what managers need to do in that? First and foremost, they need to understand and listen to their employees what their problems are. They need to understand the diversity principles, and based on that, integrate and implement on the experience. It is very important for the managers to build a DIB index. Now, as you can see this particular image, you can see a person sitting down, and around him all fire kind of situation is there. He's burning in, he's burning out. This is when the threshold of his stress bearing surpasses, and he's in position, he's not able to understand what is going to happen, and he is simply collapsed. So we will be talking about stress syndromes. So there are different kind of varieties of stress syndromes, but main three are burnout syndrome, burst syndrome, and frustration, which is often called as BRF syndromes. Now, when there is high responsibility and low response, often you get stressed out. As you can see these two images in my presentation, you can see that lady is talking on phone. She's surrounded by different files, and she has to communicate two ways, not to get confused. And after the call, she is burned out. She is completely tired. She's not able to understand what she did, why she did. So, and there's nobody around her to recognize her efforts to, what contribution she's doing for her work. So, burnout syndrome is wherein a person breaks down physically and emotionally due to continuous burdening of work. Human body cannot instantly rebuild its ability to cope up stress once it is depicted. That's the reason they became weak emotionally and physically, and they became detached to their work. Sooner or later they start regretting that why did they join this particular work, because whatever they do, they are not being recognized for. Now, when we talk about burnout syndrome does not happen over the night. It has its own stages. There are particularly five major stages, which is called as stage of job containment, the first stage of fuel shortage, stage of withdrawal and in isolation, stage of crisis, and stage of final breakdown. Now, when you join a particular job, you are super excited. Your energy levels are high, and you're very positive that you will do wonders for the organization. However, when this enthusiasm is not looked after, people don't value your work, people don't use your energy in a proper manner, soon you run out of it, due to which you will start having mental fatigue, you will be frustrated, delusional, and your morale will be extremely low. This stage is called as fuel shortage because your energy level is gone, your experience doesn't matter, people are not valuing you enough. This causes a withdrawal or isolation. You will go into a withdrawal or isolation solution, which means you will stop talking to your colleagues. You will show in small talks or small things, you will start showing anger. A lot of negativism will enter inside you, a lot of emotional disturbance will be there, you will be emotionally challenged and vulnerable. Further, if it is not seen properly, you will enter into the stage of crisis. Means you will start self doubting yourself. Can I do that? Will I be able to do that? You will have very low self esteem. You will be cynical. You will have a lot of negative feelings. If not recognized correctly, then you will enter into final breakdown. You will start taking help of materials like alcoholism, drug addiction. You will have suicidal thoughts, cardiac issues. Most of the people who are workaholic are susceptible to burnout syndrome. So it is very very important that if your colleague or your family member or anybody around you, if you see that he's going under this kind of situation, it's an alarming call that he might end up into a burnout syndrome. Now, basically, what kind of high stress jobs are? There are a lot of jobs. Every job has a stress level, but most common jobs which are super stressful are counselors, different counselors like psychiatrists, doctors, medical staff, police, law enforcement, social workers, people who work in customer care centers, air traffic controllers, police traffic controllers. Their jobs are are full of stress and responsibility. Now, goes wrong when you're not addressed properly that you are suffering from burnout syndrome? There are high chances that you will contribute to more and more errors to your work. Your irritability and frustration levels will be very high, and this will cause increased job dissatisfaction, which is a very very alarming situation for any company because people will start leaving your organization. The attrition rate of the company will increase, and people will try to upgrade themselves, upskill themselves, due to which absenteeism will increase. People will take more number of leaves, they will be less productive, their quality standards will reduce, leading to a very very poor performance management in the organization. So it is very essential to understand and identify these factors. And if your peer or if your family member is going across, you need to take proper help for bringing them out from there. Now, the second thing, type of syndrome is the rust syndrome, as the name suggests. It is completely opposite of burnout syndrome, but its outcomes are similar. So rust out syndrome is something where a person is chronically underworked. His skills are not properly utilized. For example, you hire an engineering graduate in a customer care service. He is very well knowledge and equipped in engineering field and technical fields, but you don't give him technical tasks only. You only give him particular one particular set of works, monotonous, which irritates him. He feels neglected. He feels that he has so much to offer, but nobody is bothered about his skills level. So similarly, like a rusting tool, he will continuously erode, and over a period of time, he will forget his skills, and even he will start losing his current skills for which he was hired for. So it is very essential to understand when you're hiring a person, that what kind of ability that person or capability of that person are. Is he If he has efficiency for doing other things as well, it is very essential to notice that and give those opportunities to them to perform as well. Now, frustration. As you can see, Jim Carrey over here, he's literally mad and he's saying, "I'm losing my mind out." And you can look at his expression, how terrible experience he's having. That is called as frustration. Frustration is nothing but blocking or slowing down your goal directed activity. When we talk about frustration, we often believe in the concept of PDC. That is what gives birth to frustration. P stands for privation, D stands for deprivation, and C stands for conflict. So when we talk about PDC, the first P about the privation means that if you have, something missing in your life which is stopping you for reaching up to your goal, this leads to a frustration. For example, you want to become a doctor. However, your family is not financially strong. Now your family is not financially strong, which will hinder you from writing exam, and you will not be able to write exam and become doctor. The financial strength of your family became a hurdle in your life of achieving goal of becoming doctor. This blockage will frustrate that candidate, and he will be frustrated on that. Now, the factor which often frustrate people are deprivation. What is deprivation? Deprivation. Deprivation is something when if a directed activity is blocked. For example, you have career advancement skill exam, and you know that it is very important, and if you clear that, you will be promoted in your organization. Unfortunately, you get COVID and you have to be in your home for quarantine for 14 to 20 days or 30 days, as protocol says. In that period, you miss the opportunity to write the exam, and you miss the opportunity to get the promotion. This will lead to frustration. That kind of situation which is giving birth to frustration is called as deprivation. Now, when we talk about conflict among different people often cause yes frustration, but over here, when there is conflict between two goals, it also causes frustration. It is called as A to AC concept. Approach to approach conflict, avoidance to avoidance conflict, approach to avoidance conflict. So when we talk about approach conflict, it is equally attractive goals. So it means that, for example, you are getting a better pay, better status, better job in a foreign country. However, you are not allowed to take your family along with you. Only you can go. So, which leads to only two options with you. Either you can stay at home at the current status of your job and unsatisfied job and pay scale, or you leave the family in the home country or shift to abroad without family members. This causes frustration, obviously. Now, when we talk about avoidance to avoidance concept, it is called as equally unattractive goals. An employee is asked to choose between a lucrative assignment or far off a place, give up his opportunity to grow in the existing department. Just imagine that you are staying in USA and you're doing good in the HR department, and all of a sudden you are promoted as program manager and sent and posted to Europe, and you have to leave everything over here and existing skills, everything, and you have to go there and learn new things and develop altogether a different perspective, different thing. How frustrating it will be. You have a chance to grow over here, but you are not given an opportunity, and you are transferred back to a different thing and different new technology, new things you have to learn about. Choosing to equally undesirable end states leads to avoidance conflict. You cannot do anything in that. Now, when we talk about approach avoidance conflict, it is something you have a very attractive goal but has some negative aspects. For example, you're a person, you as a person, you're getting a very attractive offer, and but you're getting it from a very unpleasant country where you are not comfortable to go about. And what will you do? It is a very beautiful approach to develop yourself, but you are not ready to go to that place, you're not comfortable to that place. This leads to approach avoidance conflict. Now, when we talk about frustration, it is calculative also. It's not just feeling of it. It's There is a proper mathematical formula to calculate. It is if you can see that it's FL multiplied by V multiplied by O plus I and P. F stands for frustration. L is expectation to achieve goal, which plays a vital role. V stands for variance, which is attractiveness towards a goal. O stands for opportunity to achieve a particular goal in near future. I stands for how much investment you're doing to achieve a particular goal, and P stands for public knowledge of expected achievement. Any of the factor, if it is missing, it leads to higher range of frustration. Now, when we talk about stress, what causes stress? When you're under a lot of pressure, when you have big chances, big challenges, when you're worrying about something, or you have not much to offer to a particular situation, or you have responsibilities and you're finding overwhelming it, do not have enough work, or you have a lot of challenges in your life, or time of uncertainty, all of these bring stress in your table. Now, when we talk about work life balance, when work life balance gets disturbed, when your work pressure is not equal to your personal life, when work pressure is less than your personal life, it gives birth to mental health issue, which we are going to discuss in further slides. When we don't have when the work pressure is less than equal to personal life, there's no stress in your life with regards to personal life. You can see like that young lady is shaking hand, she's very happy, and she's full of enthusiasm, which says that she doesn't have pressure at all. Whereas if you can see the blur image, two people who are talking at the back, man in white shirt and green shirt, lady in green shirt, they're having very uh, work related communication, and you can see there's a person who's standing with coat, and there's a person who's standing in jeans. They haven't come serious convocation. They are very stressed out. Their expressions, you can see that, and there's a difference, whole lot of difference between this lady and the people at the background over here. So it is very very important that how you manage your work pressure. Now, when you are not happy with your job, it often leads to job dissatisfaction, leads to high attrition rate, leads to absenteeism, leads to poor management, poor performance management. Now, what gives rise to job dissatisfaction? When you're underpaid, you have limited growth, you don't have interest, when there is a poor management, unsupportive boss, lack of meaningful work or opportunity to grow in the organization. These all leads to job dissatisfaction. Now, I have done a small study to identify these factors, which I will be discussing further. When there is job dissatisfaction, when there is work pressure disturbance, when there is work life balance problem, and when you're emotionally challenged, all these factors will push you to give stress. When you are in stress, you will have mental health issues, and when you will have physical health issues. The most common mental health issues you suffer from depression, suicidal thoughts, criminal tendency. The most common physical health issues you will suffer with cardiac issues, accidents, strokes. Now, when we talk, I've taken a sample of 30 people and I tried to study across, put them into different stress and depressive situations and studied how they behave. So I took a sample of 30 people, used random sampling technique and used perceived stress scale, which was designed by Sir Sheldon Cohen, and I've used a questionnaire designed by Udik Parekh to understand job satisfaction. In my research, I took stress as my dependent variable, whereas work life balance and work pressure and job description as independent variables. So when I studied, I could see that my dependent variable stress. If you can see that there are numbers which shows that there is a relationship between stress, work pressure, work life balance, and dissatisfaction leading to depression. Now, to have a better understanding, I took a hypothesis stating that work pressure will lead work life pressure, work life balance, job dissatisfaction will increase the stress levels. So when I studied, I used my the multiple regression methods, and I could find that there is a direct relation for work pressure, which contributes high value for increasing stress levels in particular life of a person or employee, whereas there is a very weak relationship for work life balance and job dissatisfaction. Basically, work pressure is leading to work life balance issues leading to job dissatisfaction. That is was what was the outcome of the study. So as you can see this a particular line plot graph, you can see that if a work pressure of a person is 20%, the stress levels are close to 40%, almost double 60. Then it is somewhere related between 60 to 70 range. So you can see that stress levels and predicted stress levels, they are coming, there is a direct hit coming on that. So it is very important that you should able to manage your work pressure, else your stress levels will go high. Now when I studied the same people under different situation, I could see that work life balance and stress have a relation, but very mild. If you can see this line, it is a very slight deviation on that. So there is a relation of when there is a work life disturbance happens, so your stress levels get increased but not very much. Now, when we talk about job dissatisfaction and stress levels, the same thing is there. So there is a very weak relation between JD and stress. So what basically happens is that when your work pressure increases, your stress level increases, and this causes job dissatisfaction and work life balance issues. So that is what I tried to prove, and it got my hypothesis got proved in that. And the second hypothesis I used is that stress gives birth to increases the level of depressions in your life also. So when I studied the same set of people, and I put them into different stressful situation, keeping my independent variable as stress and dependent variable as depression, I could see that there is a direct relationship coming. Every person who is undergoing a stress, work pressure stress, is also getting depressed. Now, based on my study, I could find that average of my sample, 48% of people were under depression, where the maximum limits were 92% and minimum limits were 13%. So the range was 13 to 92%. When I talk about stress, I could find that 45% of the people under the same situation were under stress, and their range was between 18 to 78%. Now, when we talk about relation between stress and depression levels, when I see that the average stress people who are 45% and average depressed people who are 80%, so I could see that 40% of my sample was under stress and 50% of my sample were the same people were under depression. Similarly, I could find that people whose level is less than 50, 30% of people were under stressful condition, and 47% of the people were under stressful situation. When I talk about 15% level, I could see that 67% of people were under stress and 50% of percent people were under depression. When I started, applied correlation and regulation, I could find that there is a direct relationship between depression and stress. And most wonderfully, I could find that 80% of variation were related to stress, and 20% of variation was related to non-stress factors, which is a very good result. Now, as you can see this graph, it proves that there is a direct relation between stress and depression. And when I worked further, I could find that psychological stress has strong linear and positive relationship with depression, which is one of the most common type of mental illness. So stress has a significant effect on mental health of a individual means, which can change the level of stress level significantly and also change the level of depression significantly. So, what is the outcome of my research? Outcome is that, when your work-life balance and job satisfaction is not taken properly, then you need to look after your work pressure so that you can come back to normalcy. If you have a higher if you're working in a company and you are having higher stress levels, soon there are chances that you can lead into a depressive stages. It's very very important to identify that and stop and start improving there itself. It's matter of concern that MNCs and organization must take immediate and necessary measures to mitigate this negative effect. Now, when we talk about how do we cope with BRF, that is stress, there are two ways. One is individual coping stress, and second is organization coping stress. So, as you can see, that this person is cycling over here. It's one of the physical activity. So it's very very important that you engage yourself in a physical exercises like cycling, swimming, yoga, whatever physical activity you can perform. It is very very important to do that. Go for relaxation therapies, stress relief therapies, PRMA, progressive regression, muscle therapies, a lot of meditation, those kind of things. Work home translations should be done properly. If you are diagnosed with burnout syndrome, rust syndrome, or high level of frustration, it is very very essential to get in touch with counseling psychologists and clinical psychologists, because they will be the best people to help you out with the correct cognitive therapies, and can help you out in healing. Now, another important thing is that when you are under BRF, it is often that people goes into isolation. Please don't do that. You have to be socialize yourself. You don't suppress your emotions inside. Vent out your emotions out properly, because suppression of emotions not only disturbs your mental health, but it also disturbs your physical health. For organizations, there are different coping strategies, like the organization must have a supportive organization culture where people can free to talk, have a voice. They can reach out to their managers, they can reach out to their colleagues, and freedom of speech should be there. Supportive staff should be there, supportive bosses should be there. They should be made very comfortable. At the same time, job enrichment should be there. They should be given different opportunities to grow in ladder, different work tasks to perform. not just the 9 to 5 kind of job or monotonous activity. It is very very essential that the person who are working in a particular role have absolute clarity about his job roles. There should not be any kind of confusion or any kind of poor communication given to him. He must be aware of his roles. He should be have absolute clarity what he is supposed to do. At time to time basis, there should be proper career planning and counseling. That is generally done by managers, like how they implement DIBE principles with their employees. It's very important that employer and employee have a regular one-to-one on this and see where they're growing. A proper PMS should be maintained so that they improve not only in the work but also in the organization as well as in personal life. See, because the goals are common, and it is very important that the organization's goal are met as well as the employees' goals are also met. As there are different roles which involves a lot of stress in work, it is very essential that a proper stress control workshop should be done on time to time basis. Proper counseling should be done. Removal of negative activities should be done so that removal of negativism happens and people became positive. It is called as reverse psychotherapy, which should be done, which removes the negativity of the person. Second, lastly, employee assistant program should be there. Like, what are the medical benefits they have? What are the psychological benefits they have? How can they can improve themselves in terms of emergency or related to psychology or mental health issues? Which doctors or which counselors they can reach to? With this, I hope. With this, I would like to rest my presentation. Thank you so much, WYN, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello everybody. Hello, this is Melinda. I'm the host of the WYN conferences. Welcome to the second day event of WYN Croatia Summit 2022. Our
Thank you.
speaker, Dr. Amit Filoraj, he has given amazing enlightening speech. Thank you so much for your
Thank
very
you.
informational message. So nowadays people are dealing with so much of stress, anxiety, depression. So your speech has given some thoughts how to overcome that. So I have an experience. One of my colleagues, he do a lot of exercise. Doing exercise is very good for health, but it will also burn the calories. But excess burnout leads to the health issues, right? So he'll do daily exercise a lot. He lifts so much of weights, but suddenly in the age of 30s he got attacked with heart attack. So do
Yes.
you think so? Is that possible? Doing exercise is that
No, so you have to see. For I'll give you my personal experience. I was a very frank kind of person, and but when I had issues in my life, I controlled my emotions and I didn't went out. This caused me ulcerative colitis, ulcers in my intestine. Very, very, very complicated disease. So, mental health, it's not just doing hitting gym, doing a lot of exercises, doing, if you're not mentally sound, your physical health will get affected. So it's all about emotions. So like as you said, your friend has problem but he is doing a lot of physical exercise it will not help him until unless he undergoes the mental exercise. I'm sorry, the word is wrong. Mental exercise is not the correct word, but
men-
if
mental
he doesn't
stress?
go under the proper cognitive therapies. So there are different kind of you see depression is often misunderstood. If you are not able to perform something, or if you're not getting something in your life, people say I'm depressed. No, you're not depressed. Depressed is a disorder, it's an illness. It's an incorrect word to be used. So it is not depressed, you are not happy or upset. So when we talk about depression, it's related to emotions, it's related to dopamine. There are a lot of things in the neurotransmitters going on, which is a technical. There are too much technical words on that. That leads to depression. So your friend who is suffering, probably having emotional problem. He might be emotionally challenged. He might have emotional stress. So it is very essential for him to you know go and see a therapist who is specialized in emotionology. People who look after emotional intelligence are called as emotionologists. They are specified psychologists, not the general psychologist. Counseling psychologist, first you need to meet the counseling psychologist and understand the root cause of his problem. What is it triggering? Sometimes there are many problems which are in their subconscious mind. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. So physical exercise with coping strategies will help him. Not just the physical exercise, because physical exercise by pumping gym, his physique might go very good externally, but internal organs also get hit. Your liver, your heart, like lot of stress. If you have a lot of stress, you will have, many people will have cardiac issues. So
Yes.
because they if you're not able, if you're sulking down, if you're keeping it to yourself, you're not sharing your views, then this will put a lot of pressure in your heart, the veins and the arteries. The blood pressure will increase, and eventually you will have issues, cardiac issues. And also people who of such kind of people get addicted to smoke. They think that smoking high will reduce stress, which doesn't. It will it will give a temporary relief, but it will further cause problems. So it is very very essential that they need to understand what they're going through, and based on that take go for a correct help person. So for example, like as you said, I have an emotional problem and I land up to a clinical psychologist, I will not get a proper solution of it. I do not have a mental illness. I have I do not, I'm sorry, I do not have mental disorder. There's a difference between mental disorder and mental illness. So I have a situation where I am getting depressed, or I am proceeding towards to that. So first, I need to consult a counseling psychologist to understand what is going to that. They will understand what are my emotional status. So based on that, I have to reach out to the correct person who can treat me. We cannot go to any random psychologist, because there are different specializations, different ways to treat. So I hope I answered that for your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your valuable information. So we have a question from one of our audience.
Yes, I
So
think depression and anxiety on that is there. Some one has helped. Like stress can
yes.
mask itself as depression and anxiety. How to help people distinguish between them? So I'm sorry, poor. So stress is like the starting point. So anxiety and starting, yes, you are absolutely correct. Stress and anxiety are related to each other. It's a proven fact. There's a direct relationship between stress and anxiety. So it is very very important to understand what kind of anxiety level the persons have. If anxiety happens, it's a triggering event. For example, some of us are very scared of exams. The moment we are perfectly fine, everything is the moment get a paper, the heart beats like pumping like very hard, and we get, oh my god, I cannot write. So this is a factor. But anxiety to a level where people run off, that is a problem. So, oh my god, I have an anxiety, I cannot write paper, the person will get up from there and run away. Whereas if you are where a person is scared and still but manage to write paper or attempt think, it's not a disorder, it's a challenge which he is facing. So for that, a lot of they have to lot of support of the family and the people around is required. Like for example, I was scared from stage. I was not a stage person, but I had a habit. I used to like a lot of presentation, writing things, and all. But when it comes to stage, I used to faint a bit. I remember my first presentation was in front of my father, and I couldn't say two words over there, hello, and then I just came down on the. That was my first experience. So you need to face your fears strongly, and you have to practice. There will be lot of failures, but you have to understand success does not come that way. Every time you fail, try and again get up, and there will be one phase that you will succeed and you will be able to perform and achieve your goal. Never be afraid of failures. So that is what I would like to say. Stress and anxiety can be managed if you are able to understand what kind of anxiety the person is having. There are different kind of anxiety people have, and there are many assumptions people make about it, that I am anxious, I have anxiety. Actually anxiety is not there, it is just the fear of it, of making an attempt or uncomfortable situation. So that is not this is the, like I said, you need to understand between disorders and illness. And there are lots of biases which people need to understand. Once they remove it from their lives, their life will become very easy and comfortable.
Yes, yes, that is very true. Thank you so much for your
Welcome.
informational speech. And so, yeah, a very good start for this day too. And so, how can people can reach you? Do you have any email ID or any
Yeah,
contact
they
details?
can reach me at Facebook. My number, you can give it to them. Whoever wants to can get communicated. I am an author in Amazon as well. They can search my name by Dr. Amit Filora. They'll find my books. They will find my all details. Facebook, LinkedIn, and email amitflora@gmail.com. They can reach out. My number, you can share it with them. They can connect with me and can ask whatever they want to.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Most
Amit
welcome.
Filora. So, if anyone want to reach Amit Filora, so you can email him. You can go to his Facebook page, LinkedIn, so he can help you out. So, yes, thank you, and have a
Thank
great
you,
day. It's
Milena.
really so honored that you are already been a speaker for this WYN conferences. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.